Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. I've got 4 more of the easiest Korean side dish for you guys, so check these out. They are super simple. They only use a few ingredients that are seasonal to summer in particular, so give it a go, try to make them, and let me know how it went in the comments. Cucumbers. So many cucumbers. Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. Today we're making 오이무침. Oi are these things. Cucumbers. So many cucumbers. And we're going to take our cucumbers and we're going to turn them into a delicious Korean side dish. Alright, let's begin. Cucumbers are so cheap and abundant in Korea during summer. That's why during the summer season you'll see so many different cucumber recipes or cucumber dishes if you live here in Korea. For our cucumber muchim, we start off by boiling it for a minute. Just get it nice and clean, get it a little bit soft. Don't overdo it, we don't want cooked cucumbers. How you slice it is up to you, but you want to sort of a little bit, not too thin and obviously not too thick for it. But you can make it depending on your tastes. I'm going for a sort of thicker cut here. I like a big chunk of cucumber in my muchim. Now we want to wash these in with a little bit of salt, remove some of the moisture out of these. It's going to take out the moisture as well as give it a good clean and a good cleanse. Cucumbers can be a little bit bitter when you eat them just straight, so doing this will change the flavor profile a little bit. Try to slice up those onions fairly thin. For me personally, I don't enjoy big chunks of onion in any kind of salad, to be honest, let alone a cucumber salad. Got some green pepper, adds a bit of a different type of crunch to it. Take out that water so that all the water's gone, and then we're going to wash it in new water, so not salty water. Give them a good wash, scrub them down, just get all that salt off that might be on there so you've got nice clean cucumbers. Don't skip this part with the squeezing of the water. Get as much water out of it as you can. You'll just get a better consistency of the end product. Once that's done, it's time to add everything together. Let's make this sauce and put everything in a bowl. Try to mix up the red gochugaru, that's the red pepper flakes, before you add in the sugar though. Otherwise it'll clump up. You'll get a better spread of your your red pepper there, and then add in your sugar, your garlic, and the other ingredients. It'll mix things up a little bit easier. And it's basically ready at this point. Now you can keep mixing and mixing and mixing depending on how you like it. If you want your red pepper to be spread out a little bit more, give it more of a mix. If you like sort of more chunks of red pepper in there, then just have it when you're ready. And look, it's delicious. Throw in some sesame seeds, of course, at the end. Oh look, I'm having some, gotta try it. You can hear the crunch there. It'll retain that crunch for at least a few days if you keep it in the fridge. Putting it back in the fridge and letting it chill, it is too delicious. My one broken heart. Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. Today we're making 애호박전. 애호박 is a type of sort of zucchini squash-like thing that looks like this. Here's half of one. It broke. Here's the other half. There we go. So we're going to use this. We're going to make delicious 애호박전. And 전 is basically a way of just frying it up. We're going to cover it with an egg batter and fry it in a pan. And it's going to make this beautiful side dish that is great with beer or, just as a healthy snack. Let's begin. You really don't need a lot of ingredients for this one, which makes it the perfect recipe if you do have some spare zucchinis. See, flour, eggs, salt, and zucchini, and you're done. I do use some red pepper, which I didn't show in this part of the video. The red pepper adds a bit of color to it, as well as a little bit of spice. When you're cutting the zucchini, you really do want it to be that medium thickness. Not too thin, not too thick. If it's too thin, it'll overcook, and if it's too thick, it'll be too crunchy on the inside. Lay them out on a tray just like this, and the reason for this is we're going to salt them. Little pinch of salt on all of it. Spread it out as much as you can and as fast as you can. Just get a little bit of salt on each one and then flip them over and do the same on the other side. You can use your hands. I'm just trying to look nice and fancy here, but if I was doing it normally, I would just use my hands, not the chopsticks. Once again, if you're not familiar with what we do with the salt here, the salt removes the moisture, which you can see in this part of the video. Look at all the water that's coming out of those. You do this with zucchini, you do it with cucumber and other things. The water comes out, then you get rid of the water and you get a bit of flavor on the inside. You should do this with mushrooms as well. Sweat your mushrooms, that's an important one. Get better flavor from them. Just put the water towel on there. You can see the difference. Once I've done that, you can see the dry sort of zucchini. Look, I use my hands here. Wasn't going to be using the chopsticks. So flip it, get rid of all the moisture. Once again, we remove that moisture because when we put the flour with it, it won't quite cook right. So having it dry will get a better, sort of crispier texture. It won't be all soggy. I like to put this in a bag and shake it up. That's the best way to get an even coat of flour. You can also use like a sifter over the top. Give it a shake, make sure there's not big clumps of flour on there. Give it a tap or a bang. You'll see I'll do that a bit later before I put it in the wash. A couple of eggs, bit of salt in there, and then just whisk them up. This is what we call the egg wash. When they're ready there, tap the flour off and put it in the egg wash. Make sure you get both sides, so flip them once they're in. And then do them in batches that match the amount that can fit in your pan. I fit about 8 in my pan, so I did them in batches about 6 to 8. You want a fairly high heat for this. Obviously you don't want to burn the outside and undercook, but you can go for a pretty high heat. Oil the pan down and wipe it down if you can, so you don't get big chunks of oil there. You'll get an evener coat. Flip it when it's golden brown and they're ready to go. Incredibly delicious. You don't need lots of ingredients. And it's a good sort of party dish to serve, as you'll see I'm about to explain right now. Let's go back to this guy. Time to try them. See how easy it is, and this is a great little party dish. You put it with a beer or wine, or pretty much any meal you want to have in Korea. The perfect side dish, it's easy to make, and I highly recommend everyone give it a go. So let's try it out. 안녕하세요 from Korea. I'm gonna hit this with this and make 오이탕탕이. 오이탕탕. I'm gonna beat a cucumber with this and I'm gonna make a Korean side dish. How easy is that? Once again, not a lot of ingredients. That's why these side dishes are so simple and they are must-makes in summer. Throw them all together. Now we want to mix this up first before we add in some of the other things that you saw on my list back there. This will give it time to blend in. So while that is all dissolving, grind up these sesame seeds. Get a nice bit of consistency there. See, look, it's all dissolved. And now it's ready to throw in the other ingredients, which includes the garlic and our sesame seeds that we ground up earlier. That vinegar sesame taste is amazing. And when you put it with some nice chilled cucumber, or you get out of the fridge, it's so good. What I'm doing here is getting rid of the bumps that are on the cucumber. They're not very delicious, basically. So get rid of them. They add a bit of bitterness to it that you just don't need. Cut off the ends. Put them in some kind of bag or something where when you hit it, if pieces fly off, they will not come out on the bench and you won't make a mess. I don't know what you want to use. I used a bag. And then hit it. You get the point, right? Obviously I edited this down a little bit, but look, bash it up. This is the fun part, so also enjoy it. If you don't have a what was I using there? A rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a bottle and just kind of crack down on it, like going down. Make sure you don't smash the bottle on the beach though. And then we just mix it all together. If there are any big chunks that you think are too big, just snap them in half, break them up a bit. It's up to you. And you got to do it with your hands. You got to mix with your hands on this one. It's kind of the rules of it. Makes it more fun. And let's look at our next side dish. Annyeonghaseyo. Today it's beautiful here in Korea and I'm hungry. Whenever you eat in Korea, you've got to have a side dish. And I'm making one of my personal favorite side dishes, which is basically braised tofu. It's actually on the cover here. It's this thing. So I'll show you how to make it and how to use it as a side dish. Enjoy the vid. You might have heard, and so if you've watched it in my lunch videos, I always say that the fried tofu is my absolute favorite. I love this. It was great to cook it at home. You buy the tofu, make sure you get that tofu that I just showed you because it's for doing this. If you get the tofu that's too soft or the tofu that's for stews, it won't work properly. Slice this up fairly finely, our peppers and our green onions, and that's simply because we're going to mix it in with the tofu and you want little tiny pieces when you're eating it. We prepare our sauce. This is the sauce that we're going to braise everything in, so it gives it a lot of flavor. You want it to be a little bit sweet, a little bit sort of almost spicy and salty flavor to it. Now of course you can also do this without any sauce. You can just do fried tofu and just chuck it in a pan and it's incredibly delicious. I do highly recommend it, even with just a little bit of salt as seasoning. But for this one we want the proper braised with a nice sauce. You want your pieces to be not too big, not too small. Now bigger is probably better for this dish based on how much tofu you have, right? You don't want to just chuck in the whole tofu. That wouldn't work and it wouldn't look very good. You wouldn't get a good consistency of sauce and flavor with it. So the pieces that I did sort of look about right. Chuck it in the pan. About a medium heat for this one because you don't want to burn it just, quickly. It'll stick too much. At the same time, you don't want to undercook it. We throw in our sauce. Now there's still sort of a little bit of liquid in there, so you want to cook this until the liquid has essentially evaporated and it leaves this almost gooey caramelized sauce. And when that's happened, it's ready to eat basically. Look at that, delicious. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about these side dishes. If you make them, let me know in the comments and have a great time trying out some new recipes, I hope. Thanks for watching.